My third love started in college because time passed, year passed. I grew, my mustache grew, and suddenly I felt that my beard has also grew. On that day, when I had decided to keep my heart, head, and home aside, concentrate on my industrial chemistry graduation, a girl left her seat and came and sat on the same desk on which I was sitting. She wrote on her notebook and which read, "Would you kindly help me in industrial chemistry?" Under that note, I wrote, "Yes." And we started talking each other. I would make notes on industrial chemistry for her and give it to her, and she would give me smile and thank you notes. We started eating outside the class, even in the canteen, on college park benches, even at bus stops and many other places. It went on till post graduation, and when the result out, she said, "Raj, I'm going to UK for doing my MBA. Why don't you join me?" I said, "Seema, I cannot do because my family is not rich enough to support me financially." At Delhi airport, Seema and Raj said goodbye to each other forever. My third or fourth love, I don't know which number, started when I started to going office. At that time, it was 2001. I had a daughter of 4 and 5 years old and a son 6 months old. I used to go to office in a chartered bus from Pitampura to JNU bus stop. There I met a lady who showed a lot of interest. Her name was Smita Marwa. She would talk to me for the whole of 1 hour. And she took a lot of interest in me. She talked about my family, my interests, my hobbies, with the movies which I watched, and so many things. Gradually, that friendship turned into love. We started coming back from office to home together. After some time, we started bunking the office and family activities and started going to movies or trade fairs, or exhibitions, or dance clubs. You believe it or not, it went for 18 years. 18 years to understand it. And we did everything. Everything means everything. Oh my God. My wife someone is coming. You dirty people, why are you compelling me to tell all your stories? Believe me, Sima, someone, please. Believe me, I love only and only you. Please don't hate me, hate me. Don't please. Toastmasters of the day, please save me. Please save me, Toastmasters of the day. Please save me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Loved it. We will save you, sir. And on this topic, I would also want to tell all of you and seek your wish for our our distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, who has qualified to represent our division in the district international speech contest. He had an absolutely brilliant speech last week, and I'm looking forward to his evaluation of our second speech speaker, which is Ruchika. Ruchita Malik is our next speaker. She is going to be on the path of motivational strategies. This is her first speech on level 1, and the project is evaluation and feedback. Uh, I'll just read out her objectives. Ruchita, the purpose of this project is for you to present a speech on any topic receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech. The speech is to demonstrate that you have applied the feedbacks received from your first speech. Toastmasters, our second speaker of the day is Ruchita Malik, and her topic is trust in God's timing. Trust in God's timing. Ruchita Malik, please take it away from here.
Thank you. Am I audible? Have you ever done something your own way and people have tried to convince you that it is the wrong way? Good morning, Toastmasters and wonderful guests. My life started at the age of 16 when for the first time I moved from my house to pursue bachelor's in computer. It was year 2000, year of economic recession, and I had to opt between computers and teaching. I wanted to do computers, but there was a pressure from society that I should go for teaching. Why? Because computers was expensive and teaching would allow more time with family rather than a 9 to 5 job. It was then when I speak to my parents and ask them what should I do next. My mom told me that your intentions create your reality. Give your 100% to it and do what you want to do. Right after completing my bachelor's, I wanted to do master's. Study abroad was my dream. It was then, with a muddled plan, I started looking at the courses, universities, and requesting for brochures from various universities in UK. All was going good till the time I realized that the cost of studying abroad is way beyond my pocket. It was difficult to accept the reality, but I had to put my plan of studying abroad on a back burner and continue with my job. 10 years as a working professional, I became a workaholic person, but the dream of studying abroad was still in the back of my mind. Coincidence occurred and I came across an opportunity to work and study in UK. Now I had enough money to pay for my fees as well as manage my living in UK. I applied for the course and through to the final round. It was then when I hit my next roadblock. Well, the course was starting soon and I was in a full-time job. For a graceful exit, I needed to serve my notice period. That means I cannot join course on time. With a heavy heart, I explained this to the university administrator. Well, as they say, when you hit a roadblock, take a detour. University administrator asked me, do you want to keep your profile active for 6 months? Maybe we can find something for you. Fast forward to Jan 2015. I got a call from university administrator. In her excited voice, she said, do you want to pursue your dream abroad? You know my answer, right? Well, this time there was more on offer. University was offering me full-time scholarship, all expense paid. I quit my job, packed my bags, and landed in London. It for the fifth time, but this time to pursue my dream of studying abroad. All I want to say is, if in case you happen to be in a situation which you cannot resolve on yourself, do not hold on to a problem. It is important that you focus on all the things around you which are wonderful and enjoy your time. Delays are not denials. Trust in God's timing. Like me, if you are also waiting for something, keep aside your own timetable and enjoy your time here. the roadblocks are just momentary detours, leading us to God's best for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we have our third speech, and this speech comes across the 7 seas right from Costa Rica, from our Toastmaster, a brilliant speaker, and her speech today is going to be the project is creating effective visual aids. This is the level 3 of this project, and the path is introducing the speaker, if I'm right, and the objectives of a speech are, this is for Alicia Snyder, who is our next speaker. And Alicia, it is to practice selecting and using a variety of visual aids during your speech. So, ladies and gentlemen, here goes with Alicia Snyder, the yellow room. The yellow room, Alicia Snyder. Take it away from here, ma'am.
Deep in the woods lies a mysterious little cabin. And in this cabin, a yellow room. This magical room is so big, the entire universe can fit inside. Yet only certain items will you find within. In the yellow room, there is no sun, no stars, but there is a moon. In the yellow room, there are no decorations, no ice cream, but there is cheesecake. And in the yellow room, there are no maps, no iPhones, but there is Apple. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, this is the riddle of the yellow room. Do you know what's inside? Let's play a game. I'll say a word and you answer yes or no if you think it's in the yellow room. Ashok, green.
No.
Actually, yes, there is green in the yellow room, but no blue. Kapil, mangoes.
Yeah, yes.
There are no mangoes in the yellow room, but there is curry. Let's see here. Sheila, India.
Yes.
There's no India in the yellow room, but there is Chennai. I'll give you one more hint. In the yellow room, there is a mess. Now, you might cringe at this, but those who love a mess have this to say on Pinterest. A messy room is a sign of genius. That's definitely me. My room isn't messy. It's an obstacle course designed to keep me fit. And excuse the mess, the children are busy making memories. Now, if you like a mess, perhaps you agree with these statements. Carla certainly does, because boy, is her room a mess. Not only her room, but her life is a mess. She's always late to everything. She'll call you up last minute for that emergency favor. And then she completely forgets when it's her turn to pick you up for work. It's easy to get frustrated and judge Carla because her life is disorganized and her room is a mess. Unfortunately, there is a mess in the yellow room, but there's also cleanliness. Clean room lovers had this to say on Pinterest. The cleanliness of your room reflects the stability of your life at any given point. Perhaps you agree. Oh, cleaning and organizing is a practice, not a project. True, true. Oh, tidy room, tidy mind. Now, if you like a clean room, perhaps you agree with these statements. Betsy certainly does, because her room and house aren't just clean, They are the picture of perfection. However, it's difficult spending time with her because she always has to be in control. It's her way or the highway. And not only that, but she gets easily offended at any little thing. It's easy to judge Betsy and get frustrated with her. She is controlling. But at least her room is a picture of cleanliness. In the yellow room, there is cleanliness, but there's also a mess. Do you know what's in the yellow room? Okay, one final hint. In the yellow room, there is no blue quest, but there is a grammarian. Okay, no worries. I see the look of exasperation on your faces, and I know what you're thinking. Would you please just give us the key? It's hard not knowing, isn't it? The riddle of the yellow room is mysterious at best and exasperating at worst. But then, how much more the people in our lives? They can be messy or clean. They can be disorganized and late or controlling and easily offended. It's easy to judge and get frustrated with them. But the reality is, we don't know what they've been through because we don't know what's in their yellow room. Each person has a yellow room of their own, and inside it, they store their experiences, their emotions, their enigmas. This yellow room holds their past memories and their future hopes and dreams. The problem is, we don't know what's in their yellow room, and as a result, it's easy to judge and get frustrated. It's easy to judge Carla for being so disorganized. But what if I gave you the key and you saw inside? You would find that her yellow room has no dad, no stable income, but it does have ADHD. It's easy to judge Betsy for being so controlling. But what if I gave you the key and you saw inside? You would find that her yellow room has no friends, no husband, but it does have past sexual abuse. Ultimately, we don't know what's in that person's yellow room, and so it's easy to judge and get frustrated. But rather than judging, what if we choose to be kind and patient instead? You may find that by being patient, that person will be willing to share the key of their yellow room and let you in. Because it takes two people, the one that doesn't know what's inside the room to be patient and understanding, and the person with the yellow room to share the key. Now, today I'm going to share the key of the yellow room with you. Let's see if you guessed correctly. Just as it takes two people to open a person's yellow room, it takes two repeated letters to open the yellow room. Two L's, two O's. For this reason, there is no sun, no stars, but there is a moon. There are no decorations, no ice cream, but there is cheesecake. And there are no Macs, no iPhones, but there is Apple. This is the riddle of the yellow room, and now you know what's inside. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you once again for saving up 2 minutes so that I can now talk about the Sudoku. Let me share with you a set of slides that I had prepared for the presentation that I would like to make. And as I said, that I would love to share with you how Sudoku is something which helps you in working, in improving your memory. But I have to give you a short history about it. The first time that something in this area was, it came up as far back as, well, my slide gets hidden. Yeah, there you are. In 1992, on 19th November, a French publication, a newspaper, La Soleil, came up with the magic squares. But it was not like the Sudoku because it needed double digits besides the single digit numbers. La French reworked on it and came up with the evil magic squares as far back as 1895 in July. Here, instead of the subgrids, they had diagonal grids, and they had the numbers 1 to 9. Howard Gaines in 1979 introduced the number place in US and put it up in the Dell magazine. But it was someone who was very smart, and Maki Kaja picked up this from US and came to Japan and made it into a trademark and marketed it in Japan in the year 1984. I must tell you why it became so successful in Japan. In Japan, people travel on the metro from one end to the other end, and a travel time of about an hour, hour and a half is very normal for people to go to their offices or to their factory or workplace. And at that time, this is something which keeps them hooked on, and they don't feel tired, and they really work on the Sudoku, on setting up the numbers. The other is, in Japan, unlike other places where you can use alphabets for the crossword puzzle, here in Japan, you will find it very difficult to use the alphabets, which are pictures, in your various applications of the crossword puzzle. And therefore, it became very, very popular in Japan. And today, worldwide, we have something like 47 million people who wait eagerly for their newspapers to come in the morning so that they can do this Sudoku. And I'm one of them. And today, almost across every newspaper and magazine, you will find the Sudoku puzzle, which is patented as a Japanese product. But please understand that it started way back in 1892 in Paris, in France, and has moved along. Today, we can find these as computer versions and is sold by the Times in Britain since 2004 as a product which is very successfully being used. Before I go further, I just wanted to tell you how to play this game. There is a main grid of 4 into 4 squares, and then subgrids. Amongst them, if you see the product which is up there are subgrids which are between 3 into 3 squares. And you can only use 1 to 9 only once per grid, per subgrid, as I mean. Every horizontal row, every vertical row, and every 3 by 3 subgrid must contain these numbers from 1 to 9. You cannot repeat the numbers in the same row, column, or subgrid. You cannot change the digits already given in the grid. And every puzzle has only one solution. And that is really the fun of the whole thing. Let's look at one of them. Remember, we need a 9 by 9 grid, and you have 3 into 3 subgrids, and you can use only digits 1 to 9 every subgrid. So here is the first one on your left will be the one which is what is shown to you. And when you put in the numbers and complete it with the numbers in red, that's how the grid gets over. Now, to make it more interesting, we will play a grid as we go along. But before that, I will call the table topic master of the day, all the way from Bangalore. Ma'am, Natasha, I'll stop sharing this so that she can use her screen for the next part of it. Toastmaster Natasha, all the way from Bangalore, please take it away for the table topics for this morning. Over to you, Toastmaster Natasha Kumar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharendra. Can you hear me? I know I'm like a ventriloquist today. You see me on one screen and you hear me on another.
That's okay. We can see you.
Yeah, when you said let's play the game and then you called me, I thought you were asking me to solve the Sudoku, and I am so bad at it. That is one puzzle that has always been a big challenge in my life.
I'll make it easy for you today.
Okay. Thank you so much for handing over the session to me. And yes, we are here to play some more puzzles in life, like a Sudoku, but these puzzles can be solved. You just have to be a little creative about them. This is called the table topic session, popularly known as the butterflies in the stomach session. And I hope that my topics are easy enough for you to make the butterflies fly in formation. The purpose is to try and attempt them in as creative a way as possible, and they definitely help you when you have to think on your feet at that interview job, or if you're caught coming in late by your spouse. All right, with that, let me start sharing my screen. One moment, please. I have a pop-up on my screen that says you cannot move a video when you are spotlighted. Is that a bother, or can I just go ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay. So my first topic, like I said, every problem, no, in this case, every puzzle has a solution. You just have to be creative enough to find it. My first topic for Toastmaster Kapil. Coming
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
Life is like a puzzle. Some pieces are difficult, some pieces are missing. Life is like a puzzle. Some pieces are difficult and some pieces are missing.
Yes, I do agree with this statement because to me, life is always like a puzzle. I was puzzled when I passed my matriculation examination, and I was good in science, and but I always wanted to become a chartered accountant. So I thought, what should I take? Whether I should choose science or whether I should choose commerce. So it was a puzzle game for me at that time, and there was no one to advise me. So some piece was missing at that time. There was no mentor at that time, but I took that call myself. I chose commerce, and thankfully I managed to complete my chartered accountancy on time. So yeah, that was one puzzle that I solved. And then yeah, there was a puzzle next. So uh, puzzles keeps on coming as you move in life. So there was another puzzle when I started to look for a job. I got an offer from a ITC in Sikandrabad when I was in the merit list of ICWA, but because of the I couldn't relocate myself to Sikandrabad. It was a big company. They were offering me huge pay package at that time, but I still decided to work here in Gurugram and work in a small setup. So it was a puzzle. Again, I do regret that thing that someone did not mentor me at that time to join that organization. Yeah, so I feel that it is a life is a puzzle, and you you find that pieces are missing, but you have to find those missing pieces. If you manage to do that, life is pretty easy. Thank you. Over to you, Natasha.
Am I still muted? I don't know why I keep getting muted. Thank you
Go
so
ahead.
much, Toastmaster Kapil. Looks like you have been able to find those missing pieces in your life, and actually, you are now a mentor to so many here at the club as a president. And of course, there's no more muddle in your mind because you're also a chartered accountant. Thank you for your thoughts on the topic. Our next topic is for Toastmaster Ragini, and your topic is it's always the small pieces that make the big picture. It's always the small pieces that make the big picture. Toastmaster Ragini.
Thank you, Table Topic Master, for a wonderful topic. It's always the small pieces that make the big picture, and no one else than me could actually define probably the topic well. So I believe all good things comes in short packages, and I will take my own example. I am a short-heighted girl, and I believe I am a big blast package in that short height. So what happens is the the size does not matter for you, be it your personality, be it your physical appearance, because what you should always remember is the will inside you. So you should not concentrate on the small pieces or the missing pieces of life, but you should always take the life as a puzzle and solve it with your strong will, and yes, then you will make your way through it. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ragini. I wish I could actually know you and see you because you do seem to be like a small package but with big thoughts. I like that idea about having a big will and the bigger picture in ahead of you. Wonderful. Moving on, my next topic. Puzzles and problems give you patience and a purpose. Puzzles and problems give you patience and a purpose. Toastmaster Sharendra, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I believe life is like a jigsaw puzzle, which needs to be resolved, which needs to be looked at from different angles and being able to understand that how the whole picture is formed. And therefore, one of the things which I have always felt is, yes, there is going to be times when you will be totally muddled up in your thought processes and you will not be able to put those different cues to be put together so that you can form the full picture. But as the picture evolves, as you do your trial methods, and then the success starts coming, and that is where you start encouraging yourself to work more towards those puzzles being resolved. And somewhere in life, you start realizing that these challenges in life are all because of the puzzles which are all around us. And how can you unclutter them so that they can bring you to a situation where everything starts setting into its place and falling into its place, and then you can get the final picture. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shorendra. Yes, it is always the little pieces, and then you have to have the perspective to look at the bigger picture in life. Thank you so much. Uh, Back to a screen share. My next topic, each one of us makes this puzzle complete. Each one of us makes this puzzle complete. Toastmaster Naveen.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and dear friends. Each one of us makes this puzzle complete. Of course, isn't this a very apt topic? It is said that the devil is always in the details. Of course, we really have to go deep in life sometimes to understand what it all is, what all the mysteries are. Let me give you an example that why each one of us makes it complete, because like let's say if we have to live in a family, each one of us has to contribute in their own manner. We all have to work for it. We all have to see and take our own responsibilities, and to ensure that it's a healthy lifestyle and a healthy family, we all have to be part of it. Now, the thing is, sometimes there are some circumstances, there are some emergencies which do come up, and it is how we are committed towards our family, towards our friends, towards the whole society and the community. Do we make, or do we end up becoming a better person, a better citizens in our life? So, I would say that of course, life itself is a puzzle, and it depends in this puzzle, what is your role in this puzzle? How are you going to fit in that particular puzzle? And there might be a particular area where you might fit in. It's not that you can always be where you want to be, but you got to be where you really fit in, and where the rest of the persons around you may accommodate to make or to paint a beautiful picture and a complete picture. So, so contribute yourself and contribute in the way in which you best fit in. And let me assure you, you're going to make a beautiful picture ahead. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naveen. I love how you connected your individual contribution as a part of a family to the community, and then how each one of us can contribute to make this a beautiful picture. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Naveen. Moving on. Life is like math. If it goes too easy, something is wrong. Life is like math. If it goes too easy, something is wrong. Toastmaster Rupinder.
You could not have asked a better person. I happen to be a mathematician by education, an instructional designer by profession, and a Toastmaster by passion. Do you not see that as being so muddled up? And that precisely relates to your table topic, that life is like mathematics. If it is too easy, something is seriously wrong. What should have been easy was me to become a professor in mathematics. And believe me, I tried. Let me tell you one incident from my life. I am obsessed with the number seven. No, I'm not a numerologist. I don't believe in astrology. But I was obsessed with number seven for some reason. It so came to pass that in my second year of bachelor's, I came across this subject called number theory, which deals on the properties of numbers. And my obsession for number seven led me to finding a divisibility test for it. I researched and researched, and I came up with a 13-page proof for divisibility by 7. Now, those were the days when you did not need a test to become a PhD, a doctorate. All you needed to do was to research something significant, take it to your professor. Your professor would recommend you. And I sauntered into my professor's office, threw the proof down on his table, and I said, "Here is the proof of divisibility for 7. When do I get nominated for my doctorate?" Now, my professor told me to come back the next day. I was envisioning pictures of me being the youngest doctorate in the history of that university. Next day, I walked into his office. He had my proof on one side, a book on the other. He asked me to open the book, go to a certain page, and there I found that 2,500 years ago, someone derived the same proof in less than half a page. If only life was simple. It is not. Life is like mathematics. If it is too simple, then you're doing something wrong. But hey, here I am telling you a story. Couldn't have been more muddled than that, right? Table topic master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rupinder. So you probably don't have the D of the doctorate, but you do have the D of the DTM. And yeah, so, well, maybe thankfully you're not a mathematician. We don't want all those muddled up facts. Thank you.
We have Ashok who's not spoken.
Yeah, I have the next topic up. Eventually, all the pieces fall into place. Until then, laugh at the confusion. Eventually, all the pieces fall into place. Until then, laugh at the confusion. Toastmaster Ashok.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. I think this is a very good topic to talk about, because as we are inspired by the literature as well as our Hindi movies, that at the end everything is going to be good. So till the time things doesn't fall good, we should be happy, we should be curious when we start watching any movie, series, or eventually that comes to our life, that in our life also I see it like this way, things are not falling in right places, then still let's hold for some time, let's wait for some time, and eventually, like a movie, things will fall in place. Because any writer who's writing a story, till the time he's not willing to make a next series, he will sum up your story well. If your story is not completed, then definitely something is left out and it will be taken in the next phase. Like Toastmaster Raj Mehta, his love stories were not perfectly ended. So one after the other, he kept getting those stories. And now when he reached to a saturation level of marriage, I am very much hopeful that his story is complete, happy. So he will not have a new story. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashok. What I took away from your speech was your love for Hindi movies and your faith in the Almighty. A picture
Yes,
abhi baki hai mere dost. It's
yes,
not
yes,
the end
yes,
until it's the end.
yes.
Final topic coming up. Sometimes when things are falling apart, they may actually be falling into place. Sometimes when things are falling apart, they may actually be falling into place. Toastmaster Aditya.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Steve Jobs has rightly said, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backward. I remember 3 years ago when I was struggling whether I should take up a job or maybe go for a premium institute of Masters in Business Administration, try for MBA colleges. I happened to stumble upon an advertisement of ISB Hyderabad in New Delhi. They were having an orientation session for aspiring candidates. I just went there out of curiosity as to what they have to offer. 60 minutes into the session, I got really bored and was about to leave. That's when nature called. I went to the washroom and I met a gentleman there. We were busy doing our own stuff. And out of the blue, he mentioned, "What are you up to?" I said, "I was attending this session and I found it really boring. And now I think probably I'll head home." He said, "I'm going to this meeting called as Toastmasters meeting. Would you like to join?" And until then, I had never heard of Toastmasters. And I thought, yeah, I'm anyway not doing anything special after it. I would love to accompany you. And then that gentleman took me to a Toastmasters meeting, and after that introduced me to our current district director, Nimish Joseph. He explained all the in and outs of Toastmasters, and that's how my journey in Toastmasters started. And I completed my 3 years at Toastmasters about 3 weeks from now, in the first week of March. And look, I was going through that journey. I could not figure out as to why did this happen. I went to a random MBA college orientation program. I met a gentleman in the gents washroom. He took me to a random Toastmasters meeting, met a gentleman there, explained all of this, joined Toastmasters, and it's been 3 years now. But looking back at the journey, I realized that all of those small puzzle pieces, all of that was happening for a reason. And now that I look back on those experiences, now I can make a sense of all of that, why that happened. So reiterating with what I started, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backward. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
That was beautiful, Toastmaster Aditya. Very insightful for a person as young as you to actually see the bigger picture by connecting the dots backwards. Awesome, wonderful. Thank you for that take on the topic. With that, we come to the end of this session, and you guys have proved it that you can solve any puzzle and be very creative about it. So no more muddled thoughts. And with that, I'd like to hand over the session to our GE for today, Toastmaster Sheila.
Thank you so much. I had a kitty I had to put down. Sorry. She wasn't cooperating. Thank you very much. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. Am I audible? Okay. Good morning or good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I'm the general evaluator for today's meeting. For the benefit of the guests and anyone who may not know, my role is divided into 3 parts. 1 is to introduce the evaluators for the prepared speeches. 2 is to call on my tag team, my support network as it would be, the timer, awe counter, and grammarian for their respective reports. And finally, I will also share some of my observations regarding how this meeting has gone. And by all rights, it has gone very well indeed so far. My role as general evaluator is to introduce the individual evaluators for each speaker. We have 3 speakers tonight, this morning. The evaluation portion of our meeting is an extremely important part of our meeting, as it provides the speakers who have prepared speeches tonight with instantaneous feedback from their fellow Toastmaster members. And as you know, feedback is so very important as we're crafting our speeches, so we know what we do well and what we can do better. The purpose, again, is to give both positive comments and suggestions for improvement. Hopefully, each speaker will feel encouraged by aspects of their speech that went well and motivated to make their speeches even better for the next time. First, I would like to call upon the evaluators to evaluate our speakers, and I would ask that the evaluators please try to mention at least 1 point for improvement in your evaluations. At this time, I would like to call on our first evaluator, Nimisha, to evaluate Raj's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Nimisha.
Just so that you know, Nimisha will then call me, I will call Aditya, then Aditya calls you back.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Madam General Elevator. Good morning and good evening to everyone. What a wonderful speech given by distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. I would really like to commend the speaker by pointing out the humor he had throughout his speech, starting from the time when he said the result is Raj Mehta of all the love affairs, or the second time when girl is boy, or towards the end as well when I don't remember, third or fourth love affair. Possibly throughout the speech, everybody was laughing. When he used the humor in the very start, it caught the attention of the interest of the audience towards the speaker. Very nice, very well job done. Coming to the structure, well constructed and descriptive content. It was not at all muddled up. You almost made it look like a Bollywood story. Very nice, very nice. We all started imagining if something could or similar to that could have happened to us. Coming to the vocal variety, beautiful, wow, yes. What an amazing use of the vocals as well as the pace which you have picked up throughout your speech. It was not monotonous. It was not okay. First, I did not lose my interest in your speech, and your vocal variety was one of the very big things. Coming to the, you made me actually look back to the evaluation sheet to get back if there is any point where I can give you a recommendation. So I have two recommendations. Possibly one is I felt a little network bandwidth issue. Because of that, the voice was seamless. It was completely fine. But the point where we need a little improvement is that we were not able to see some expressions. So there we can work upon a little work on the network bandwidth to the audio video check before the speech for a long sentence. So we could not see some of the expressions and the eye contact. Yes, I completely understand we have the tendency to look at the audience faces, especially when it's a humorous speech. But never forget to bring back your attention to the camera, because when I'm looking into the camera, I'm actually talking, because you will feel like a picture is looking at you, a painting is looking at you. You will feel like I'm talking to you directly. So never get away from the camera. So try to look in the camera. Coming to the stage area, you use the stage area very nicely, moving from here to there, and towards the end, you nailed it. Towards the end, you nailed the stage usage. I never thought that the stage could be used like this. So, all in all, it was an amazing, it was a humorous speech with good vocal variety, constructed content. Stage area as well as very well used. A little work on your eye contact and network bandwidth probably will help you get the speech to no recommendation speech. Thank you so much. Over to, I would like to call the second evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh.
Thank you. Soon to be distinguished Toastmaster Nimisha. I'm here to present my evaluation for another soon to be distinguished Toastmaster, hopefully Ruchita Malik. There are two very good ways to this. The best way to start a speech is to start with a question, and Ruchita started with a question. The best way to continue a speech is to tell a story, and Ruchita told us a story. So both the boxes checked. Starting with a question enabled Ruchita to capture the attention of the audience. And what I liked was the way that she asked the question. It was a rhetorical question. The pause after that question was just enough to get our interest piqued, and yet her response after that was soon enough so that we did not start answering the questions at our end. So, wonderful job done there. And then that story of how she tried to get into a college in the United Kingdom that kept us to the edge of the to the edge of our seats. Excellent storytelling. And the third thing that I absolutely loved was the vocal clarity that Ruchita had throughout her speech. I have more things to talk about in terms of commendations, but let's just go over a few points of improvement for the speaker. The first thing that immediately stood out to me was the rate of speech. While the vocal clarity was absolutely spot on, I could listen, I could understand every word, but I felt that the speaker was going at too rushed a pace, especially in the beginning. And in the beginning, you want to go slow because you want the audience's attention, and if you speak slow, the audience will hang on to every word. So maybe try going a little slower next time. Then I saw that the speaker included the word of the day. Now I don't know if muddled was a part of her speech, but at that point it seemed a little out of sorts because that natural flow was kind of interrupted. Advice: do not try to modify your speech on stage. I speak as someone who's done that umpteen times and got yelled at for it. Third, uh, that question: do you want to pursue your opportunities abroad? There was a scope for humor. For example, do you want to pursue your opportunities abroad? Does the sun rise in the east? Of course, I want to pursue my opportunities abroad. So there was a scope for humor there. It could have also, the way when the question was asked, maybe the answer could have been different from what you had. So overall, it was a wonderful speech. Before that, what my two best parts of the speech: do not hold on to a problem, which is the very essence of a term called possibility thinking. You think in solutions. If this is not going to work, I have a plan B. If that is not going to work, I have a plan C. And that quote, delays are not denials. Those are two quotes that I am going back with today. Ruchita, work on your rate of speech. Do not have the word of the day if it is not needed. And perhaps a little bit of content modification. Otherwise, madam, you are a storyteller and you pique interest. Back to you. I now call on Aditya Gupta to evaluate our next speaker.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster, for that evaluation. I will be evaluating the speech for Toastmaster Elisa. Thank you so much, Elisa, for making our mornings here in India. It was a pleasure listening to that well-structured, well-organized speech about how to find our yellow rooms. I have my evaluation in three parts. First is the commendation, second is the recommendation, and third part is some suggestions to challenge yourself at. For commendations, I would like to commend you for the use of the visual aids. All of the three visual aids that you used, the big play cards, the small cards, and the key, were linked to your speech, the yellow room, and all complemented the content very well. They were easy to read. The big play cards, or the content and the diagrams written were very well thought out, structured, drawn in a very clear and nice format for the audience to read. I loved how you held the suspense of the yellow room puzzle till the end of your speech and then revealed the double letter solution for the puzzle. That was one of the USPs of your speech for me. Moving to the technicalities, love that you had a plain background so that you had no distractions, all eyes on you. Audience interaction, check. Vocal variety, especially when you did that whisper voice, that was a double check on the technicalities. Great pauses. It gave the audience the time to absorb the content and the speech that you shared with us. We were hooked throughout the speech. And also towards the end, where you link the yellow room to human life and the muddled relationships where we lack empathy and how people don't know what's happening into the lives of others. Big reveal at the end, the secret of yellow room, like already said earlier, great thing there. Moving on to the recommendation part, out of the three visual aids that you used, the big play cards, small cards, and the key, I felt that the small cards should have been shown to the audience so that the audience is able to read it. It looked to me as if you're using it as notes in your speech to read the content out of the paper. Maybe have it in bold letters like you did with the big placards, turn it around, see it for the audience and just look them in the eyes and just read out the content. So if that would have been done, the speech would have definitely improved. Next, I felt that the eye contact was breaking in the middle. If you keep an eye contact with the audience, that would again take your speech a level up. I also felt that sometimes your body's language was a little bit stiff and your elbows were constantly sticking to your bodies and were not able to go full out and maybe extend the complete hand when you were saying, this is my friend, this is the well-organized room, this is that, this is this. I would also recommend using open body language. And at times I felt sometimes you were looking in the camera, sometimes you were looking at the laptop, and also your hand was going sometimes towards the laptop. So I felt you were doing something with the laptop and that was a little distracting for the audience. Next, to challenge yourself, I would suggest while you were taking out the big play cards, I noticed that you were looking at the props sometimes. If you could practice using the props without even looking at them, that would make it seem seamless and you would appear like a magician on the stage. Next challenge would be to have a strong open body language. Like when you said to have a stable income, ADHD, I felt a little looseness in your fingers. If you would have said everybody wants a stable income, somebody has ADHD, that would give more conviction in your content. Next, the last challenge, I would advise you to play full out and take more space on the stage. Other than that, all in all, a well-organized, well-structured speech, all the visual aids represented, complemented your speech very well. Thank you for making our mornings. It was a pleasure evaluating your speech. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much to all of our evaluators. Thank you for sharing all of your feedback and commendations, as well as constructive criticisms. I do believe that that will make our speeches and speech writers and speech givers definitely that much better. At this time, I just want to comment on the table topics. What a great round of table topics. Certainly, it is a session that does cause butterflies, and anyone who has been a table topics giver is certainly one who would know that those butterflies do churn in your stomach as you are waiting to be called on or not called on. And you certainly are wondering how you're going to piece together something quickly that will wow the crowd. I loved all the puzzle quotes. I thought that was great that all of those quotes were to be found. In addition to that, what was really great about it was that it was so closely aligned with the theme tonight. I love puzzles and I love putting things together in a way that I just love mysteries anyways, and puzzles are, while I love them, I don't always do well at them, but nonetheless. One of the things I probably would comment, everyone did a great job in terms of addressing the table topics. One of the things that just for me, it came to my mind, oftentimes puzzle pieces indicate, as we're talking about life, significant difficulties that we go through. And I know that sometimes it's a little hard to connect to those things. It's a little bit more personal, but sometimes when we share those tough things that we go through, sometimes it makes it a little bit more relatable to others who have gone through similar circumstances. And that is certainly a vulnerability that we would share in those table topics, and not everyone's able to do that. But in most of the table topic discussions, I didn't see anything of that depth. So just food for thought for the future. Sometimes you're able to relate to people a little bit easier if you share some of those deeper things rather than just always that surface level topics. So at this point, I'd like to call on our grammarian, Haritika, to give her report as she was looking throughout the meeting to see the best usages and anything that we could improve on. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I won't be able to turn on the camera because I have some bandwidth issue. In starting with my report, as a grammarian for today's meeting, my responsibility was to note the close attention to the good and not so good usage of grammar, and second, to provide the word of the day that I introduced in the beginning of the meeting. For today's meeting, the word is muddled, and it was used 9 times during the meeting, once by Ruchita, thrice by Natasha, once by Shorendra sir, thrice by Rupinder sir, and once by Nimisha. Now coming to my report, I am happy to have some excellent usages, starting with Ruchita, who used back burner, which means postpone consideration, Elisa, who used enigmas, Shorendra sir, who used clutter, Natasha, who used imparted, which means to pass information. Rupinder sir had wide usage of good words, starting with imparted, which means to starting with obsessed, sauntered, which means to walk without hurrying, envisioning, which means to imagine or picture. Then Ashok, who used saturation level, Aditya, who used stumbled upon, reiterating, hooked, and Nimisha, who used monotonous. Now coming to the scope of improvement, someone you started to going office. Instead, you could use started to go to office. I speak to my parents. It was used in past tense, so you could use I spoke to my parents. I choose commerce. I chose commerce. Things doesn't happen. Does not. Things do not. Things are not falling in the right places. Though you could use things are not falling in the right place. Now there were some really good quotes and thoughts. Raj Mehta used my second love ended in a black hope. Ruchita Malik used when you hit a roadblock, get a tattoo. She also used denials are not denials. Then Elisa used a messy room is a sign of genius. She also used cleaning and organizing is the practice, not a project. Then Natasha used butterflies in the stomach. After that, Ragini used big blast package in short height. Then Natasha also used you don't have a D of doctorate, but the D of DTM. It's not the end ultimate, it's the end. And in the last, Aditya used explain in and out of anything. And that's all from my side from the grammarian's test. Now I would like to call the R counter to present the report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Haritika. It was a phenomenal day for as an counter for Bluequest Toastmasters Club. I would quickly share my report by sharing my screen. So we had very well rehearsed and flawless speakers today. Naming a few, Toastmaster of the Day, Sharinder Bhumik. No filler words, speak are all three speakers, Toastmaster Raj Mehta, Toastmaster Ruchita, and Toastmaster Elisa. Then coming to our table topic master, Natasha, again, no filler words, are again flawless speakers, table topic speakers, Toastmaster Rupinder Singh and Toastmaster Aditya. So kudos to all of you for using no filler words and no R's and ums. Now coming to a certain R's and ums counter for a presiding officer, Toastmaster Kapil used 4 times. Then table topic speaker 1, Kapil used 3 R's and ums and repetition of the word and 3 times, which was not required. Table topic speaker Sharinder Bhomik used and a few times in his speech. And Naveen Parwal used fit in as a filler word multiple times in his speech, which could have been avoided. Then coming to Ashok Sharma as a table topic speaker, you used 3 R's and ums in your speech. Coming to our evaluation section, general evaluator Sheila, you used sometimes as a filler word a few times, and as an evaluator Nimisha, you used 4 R's and ums so a few times in your speech. As an evaluator Rupinder Singh, you used 2 R's and ums. Aditya Gupta, as an evaluator, you used also as a filler word, as a repetition a few times. And as a grammarian, Haritika, you used 3 R's and ums and a few small pauses, which could have been avoided. Thank you so much. Over to you, the timer of the day, Kapil.
Thank you, Ragini. Let me quickly share my screen as well. Okay, here is my report. It's self-explanatory. So you see here that everybody, barring these red cells, these people were bit over, they took more time than allotted time. So Elisa, you were slightly, you took 4 more seconds. And Aditya, I think you got overboard by 1 more minute. Your allotted time was 2 to 3 minutes. My apologies that I couldn't time Chorendra and Ragini because my system got hung, and then again Aditya as well. But of course, I did time you when you were evaluating. So that's it. Over to you, General Evaluator Sheila.
Thank you, Presiding Officer Kapil. Tonight we had a great meeting. We got started on time, and I love the number of times we used muddled. There are some nights we don't use the word of the day at all, and tonight we were almost at 10 times. couple of comments, couple of thoughts. Speeches were great. I certainly loved hearing everyone's speeches, but before I do that, totally intrigued by this puzzle theme Sudoku. I never quite understood it, but now I'm certainly intrigued and I actually want to try my hand at it. It sounds like it could be a very addicting thing, so maybe I need to be careful about that. I am curious to see how the rest of it's going to go. I am curious to see how this actually, you fit all these different numbers in, so I'm looking forward to hearing the rest from Surrender. In terms of the speeches, Raj, I loved how you add humor to your speech. And it's just always so fun to watch everybody's responses to your humor. It's just a lot of fun. I feel like just in life in general, we don't have a lot of laughter. So I enjoy that piece to it. We couldn't see you at the end, so that was a little hard because we couldn't see your facial expression. So maybe just keep that in mind as if you give the speech again. We could only see the top of your hands and maybe the top of your head. So I'd love to see the facial expressions as you were expressing the rest of your speech. And Ruchita, I loved when you said your intentions create reality. Actually, I think it was your mom who said that. And do not hold on to your problems. Look around to the things that are around you and enjoy them. I think often we get caught up in things in our daily lives and forget the things that we have around us to enjoy. And I certainly need to be reminded of that, especially as I've gone through a little bit of a rough patch this last month. Certainly the things that are around us and the people who are around us are truly a delight to enjoy. We shouldn't get caught up in all that. And I also love roadblocks or momentary detours. Just again, that simple truth. I would encourage you, the title that you had, it didn't really make sense to me until almost the end of your speech. At some point, maybe if you could bring that forward and talk about that a little bit more in the beginning, it might just help to bring things a little bit more, it might help us to understand a little bit more the direction you're going. Elisa, again, humor from you as well. I was laughing. In fact, I threw my head back and I was laughing. You keep us off track and the suspense was great. And for me, there was this truth at the end and the fact that we all have a key to this room. And if we trust somebody, we might actually be willing to give that key to somebody. And that could just be really relationship altering. And truly it could be life changing. Just again, going back to one of my favorite words, empathy and understanding where other people are coming from. It was one of those speeches again. I needed to hear a lot of what I heard tonight. So thank you for those things. And tag team, can't be done without you. Thank you so much for being supportive and keeping track of all of those things to make us better Toastmasters, to keep the meeting on track. Overall, great meeting. I love this team. I've missed you guys and gals. And I think that is all from me. So over to you. I believe, let's see, where am I heading? Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day. I know the presiding officer is supposed to speak, but Toastmaster of the Day, Surrender, had asked me if I could hand it over to him. And anxiously, I am awaiting for the Sudoku finale.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, I will take a few minutes away from the plan. And here is our Sudoku. Now, friends, when you see this Sudoku, I had already mentioned to you earlier that I'll take you a slide back and show you if you have already got it here. Have you seen my screen? I'm presenting it once again for you to have a look. If you see, I had said we must follow the grid of the 9 into 9 grid. There are 9 3 into 3 grids, and you can use only 1 to 9 only once in a subgrid. So let's now play a game of Sudoku. If you look at it, there are set of groups here which are there. The first point you need to look at is which is the easiest grid to complete. If I see for myself I think this is the grid which needs to be completed. We have 1, 2, 3, and the only number which is missing here is 4. So if I punch 4 here, this grid gets completed. Now let's look at another grid. Let's go to this grid and look at what are the numbers that we can punch in here, which will help us in going through. Now, if you look at this grid, you have in this 2, 6, 8, and 9. So what are the numbers which are missing? 1 is missing, 3 is missing, 4 is missing, 5 is missing, and 7 is missing. Now, let's look at the grid which is coming from top, because we have to have only one number which can come in the whole group. So if you see this, we have 1, so we can't put 1 in this group at all. We have 1 here, so we can't do anything here. So the only place that you can do is you have 1 on this. So the only place that you can choose for 1 will be either here or here. If I take 1 here and then look at what is available to me, then let us look at the other number that could come here. We have 4 on this line, and we don't have any 4 here, but we have a 4 which has appeared here. So this block we cannot use. We cannot use this area. So the only area that we can look at is just between these two places. So if I put, say, 4 here and then look at what are the other numbers that I can put back here, and that is either 3, 5, and 7. I cannot use 5 on this block or on this block because we already have 5s in both these places. So I will choose to put 5 here. Once I put 5 here, I will have to look at what are the other numbers that I can use. I cannot use 7 on this block because 7 appears here. I do not have a slot here to put a number, but the only area that I can use it is this. So I can use 7 here, and the only other number which is left in the grid will be 3. So now I have 2 grids which I have been able to complete. Now, if I look at the last grid here, what are the numbers which are missing? The numbers missing are 2, 4, 2 and 4. I can't have a 2 because there is nothing here which is available to me. And the other number which is available to me is 4. Can I use 4 here? If you see, this block has 4 in it, and this block has 4 in it. So the only area that I can go to is 4 here. And once I put 4 here, I get 3. So I complete this block.
Three is
Again,
already
let
there.
us, sorry?
3 is already there. No,
No,
sorry.
3. Sorry, I beg your pardon. 2. This should be 2. You're right. You're right. You're right. Thank you. Now, on this block, we have 7 here and we have a 7 here. So what do you think should be the number that we should now put in so that we are able to go ahead? Any choices? Anyone? Any discussions on this?
7 in the extreme left column above 2.
Okay. Okay. You want
Or
7 here?
it will either be towards the left of it or on the right of it.
Yeah. If you put 7 here, you will realize that this number range will only need 6 to be put here to be able to complete it. Likewise, because of the paucity of time here, we will have to hurriedly go through this whole thing. But as you notice, on this block, we have the numbers 635, 635 as the numbers which are missing. I cannot put 5 here because I have 5 already shown in the second or the third column. But I could put 6 because 6 is on the third row and on the first row. So therefore, the second row at the end of it, I can put 6 because it doesn't clash with any other numbers. Likewise, I have the next number, which is 3. I cannot put 3 in this space because 3 already appears on the fifth column. And therefore, I have to put 3 here. And obviously, the last number which gets left off is 5. So we can finish a column by just going through it. And we have to go through certain trial and errors to be able to complete this whole grid with its own numbers, because finding which are the numbers which you are missing. I don't want to take more time. I want you to look into this grid, which you could look at the Times of India or any other map. Even Hindustan Times had it. Go to your newspaper, or in abroad, people in US may have to look at their Times. Any magazine, any newspaper which you get hold of, you will find Sudoku there. Try your hand on it. And Sheila, I can tell you, once you try your hands on it, you will find an answer. Yes, you will feel that the numbers are muddled up, but no, once you start finding and thinking through it, you will find it's very systematic and it works so well. So all the very best, and over to you, our president of the day, so that you can close the meeting today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shanda sir. Okay, Rupinder, are you ready with your results, or should I first take feedback from our guests? While I can do that, Aditya, could I have feedback from your end about today's meeting?
Sure. This was my first ever meeting at the Blue Quest, and I enjoyed complete 2 hours of it. And a lot of the memories refreshed with the Sudoku theme. We used to do it a couple of years ago. Me and Dad used to do it together. And loved all the 3 speeches and the other 2 evaluations. Learned a lot from the fellow evaluators as well as very interesting table topics complementing the theme, and got to learn a couple of things from today's meeting. Thank you. Looking forward to join you guys in a couple of more.
You actually certainly added value to our meeting today. Thank you. Ragini?
Sure, thank you, Kapil. Blue Quest meeting, I've been to this, I guess this is the first meeting I'm attending in 2021. It was an eye-opener, literally as well as metaphorically, because I'm not generally up by this time, and figuratively because it was an enlightening experience. I like the handover way of evaluations. I enjoyed the table topic session throughout. So it was overall an amazing experience. Thank you for inviting.
Oh, you're on mute.
All right, Rupinder, do you want to share your results?
Yeah, just in time. So, to share my screen. Again, this is our automatic certificate generator. We just enter the names and it generates the certificates. Now let's start with the best table topic speakers. We had the top three best table topic speakers, starting from the reverse position. Naveen Parwal, one of the constant fixtures in the top three table topic speakers. The second best speaker goes to a person who already played a role today, distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik. And this guy, the person who got the best table topic speaker today, this guy is so depressing. Every time he comes, he wins a prize, and today he came for the first time. Many congratulations, Aditya Gupta. The best speech evaluator. Now, if ever you feel like not contesting, I will strongly advise you to contest, because even if there are people you think they are better than you, they always run the risk of going overtime, and that is exactly what happened today. Two of the evaluators went overtime. As a result, the best speech evaluator goes to Nimisha Singla. When it comes to the best auxiliary role player, well, no surprises, the butler did it, and I'll tell you why it is the butler in an offline chat. Haritik Ahuja, congratulations for doing it as a grammarian. To the best role player, the person who unraveled Sudoku for me. In fact, I was actually playing Sudoku as during the meeting on another screen. Many congratulations, distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik. The best speaker, once again, always participate in contests, because you never know when the other person is going to get disqualified. The best speaker got disqualified by 4 seconds today. I'm not supposed to announce that, but the result was out there. So the best speaker now goes to, oops, this has to be corrected. This is actually Raj Mehta, but we can clap for Elisa Schneider for that wonderful speech. Now, what this means is that I can't just send the certificates right now, but I can assure you that once I click this button, these certificates will automatically go by email. So thank you very much. And now I will be closing. I will stop sharing my screen. Back to you, Kapil.
Upinder, I sent my email address. Will you please change it in your system so that I get my certificates, which are not coming over the months?
Okay, I'll just check. Where did you?
I don't get them. No, you've
No, where did
been
you send the
sending it.
email address?
This just now on the chat.
No, I did not get it. Can you resend it, please? I think you sent it to somebody else.
No, Rupinder Singh is the one I know. Eval E2 Rupinder Singh. That's what it
Okay, I
says.
haven't received it for some reason. Can you just send it once again? Just send it to me
I
on
will do
WhatsApp.
that.
I'll change it.
I'll do that. I'll do
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Just sent it.
Okay, got it.
Does that also send all the previous ones?
I will make you an owner on them, so that will help you. That will, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. We have very few people for roles next week, so we'll probably do it on the. We'll probably do it on. If anybody wants a particular role, just let me know. I mean, those that still remain. Aditya, do you want to evaluate again next week?
I'll give me a moment. I'll just. Sorry.
So Aditya is participating in the area contest. He's cleared the area contest. He's going to division for his evaluation speech contest. He's also made it to division for the international speech contest. For the record, he's also an international speech contest finalist. He made it in 2019.
I can next week. I can evaluate.
Okay, I will add your name to the speech evaluators. Anybody else?
Give me any other role that you would want me to have.
How about general evaluator? You've not done that in a while.
Okay, I'll do that.
I can be evaluator or table topic master.
I'll give you table topic master, Rachar.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Alisa, what do you want to do next week?
Oh, something easy.
Timer, accounter, grammarian?
Yeah, something like that.
Which
Timer?
one? What?
I said I'll do, I don't know, timer or whatever you need.
How about grammarian?
Okay.
Okay.
I have to log off now, but it was great seeing you guys this morning.
Sure. So
Bye.
We'll see ya. Have a great day.
Bye.
Sheila, do you want to take up something for next week? You haven't,
Yeah, I can do an
Why?
evaluator if you need an evaluator.
You haven't given a speech in a while. Why don't you try for a speech?
Okay, I can try for a speech.
Okay. All right. Kapil, speech from you. It's been a while.
Speech? No, 2 weeks back I gave you along with you.
Okay, then Toastmaster of the day.
Meeting 5 to Toastmaster of the day. Okay, I can try. Don't have a theme in my mind, but give me 2 days. I will figure out.
Okay. So you are the Toastmaster of the day, which means that Shaurendra sir, you will also be the presiding officer next week.
Okay.
Is Ruchita around? I wanted to ask if she was going to be around next week.
She's not here.
She's not here. All right, rest we'll figure out.
Okay, I'm opened on the payment thing on TI. So if anyone is willing to pay, I'm here.
Sheila said that she was willing to renew, so we can.
So Sheila, should I get through to you on your WhatsApp?
Yeah,
I'll call you
just hang on. We can we can wait for the other people to leave and then. So Kapil, Aditya, Raj, thank you very much. You can log off now while we process Sheila's payment, just so that you don't get to see her credit card number and then buy an island in Manhattan with that credit card. So
Just
Yeah, let me
stop
grab my
recording.
card. Hang on.
yeah.
Stop the recording. Stop the recording.
Oh, I have to stop the recording. Yes.